seeing the pictures going like, oh, that's going to be really cool. And it was. I walked into it and it was like this open to the second floor and beautiful grand staircase. And then I walked into it and I went,
it's an awkward small area.
I know, right? Like the actual floor.
Welcome to the It Couple.
Here you will get to listen to a husband and wife babble
about life situations, enjoyment, and fantasies.
And without further ado, let's start the show.
It was a sync the mics. Anyway.
Well, hello everyone. I am back from my trip to Canada, and
I am here because I didn't go to Canada.
Nope, he didn't. I did. It was a business trip thing, pre-planned, and it happened. And I did get to see Canada. So I mean, we injected tourism into our business trip, but
which was nicely planned. There's some nice photos. You should definitely put that up on our Instagram, by the way. The one with you and the umbrella.
Yes, I found an umbrella that matched my shirt, not planned.
Also, I probably if I can get it out.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, we're doing another re-recording sometime midweek of the last podcast. I had a guest on the show and his audio didn't come out as clear as I'd like it to.
Yeah, we keep playing around with the audio, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't for us. So.
Yeah, we got a new. We remember if you've been listening to the show.
He keeps wanting to buy new stuff, and I'm like, nope, we can't afford it.
Well, here's the thing. As many of you know, we got a new microphone. We had an episode where we talked about it. We were really happy about it. And then it
started having weird issues.
Yeah, and someone told me about one of the episode even before that your voice was really crackly during one in the middle on it too, and then so I was just like, what are we gonna do? So I have my microphone, and I know that this one works well. This is the part where Laura is not exactly happy with making more purchases for microphones. But I know that it has been the one consistent thing that has not failed on us. So I want to get another one. There is the Yeti Blue Ice Ball, which is out there. But we already have a Yeti Blue Ice Ball. And
and it stopped working.
Exactly.
For no reason.
Anyway, we
didn't drop it. We didn't do anything with it. It just stopped working.
Yes, but we were already kind of almost a couple minutes in, and let's let you know what we're going to be talking about today. And that is because
what are we going to talk about today?
We did something really cool today. It was really special. We put an offer on a house.
We did. I know anybody who's been listening to our show has known we started the process of looking for our first house, and we've been going through all sorts of different ups and downs and not knowing what to do. And I mean, since it's our first home buying experience, we haven't really known what exactly we wanted. So we've seen, oh God, how many homes have we seen now?
We have
like
seen,
10?
I don't know, 12? We've seen more than 10. We've definitely seen more than 10.
12 maybe?
Maybe. I don't know the specific number, but I know we haven't hit 20. But we have seen quite a few homes.
Yeah.
We've gotten definitely a good idea of our style and what we were looking for. I have not yet fully given up my idea of having a garden tub, big tub, because I am tired of squishing my body into origami shape.
In all honesty, even the half or the smaller tubs we've seen are bigger than the one we currently have.
Yes. The one you get, you're like, okay, that's the kids' tub. No, ours is like.
I think the only reason we've really put the garden tub into there is because there's that idea that so you have a garden tub in there, it's a lot easier than if, say, you have a smaller tub in there. What if you want something bigger? You can't. It's a lot harder to put a bigger tub in a smaller space. Whereas if you've got a bigger space already, hey, we want that really big, nice soaking jet tub or whatever.
Correct. And
it's a lot easier to take out a garden tub and put in that big soaking jet tub.
or here's the easy way. You're probably living in somewhat of a household. I'm hoping for everybody. So take a look at your own bathroom and then kind of imagine if you do not have a garden tub, where would one go?
How how would you put it in? Like, you know.
And if you do have a garden tub, you can probably even see putting another garden tub or a different garden tub in the future.
Well, I think we
space.
We looked into we Googled the cost of what it would be, and it was like, I don't know, $3,000 to $5,000 estimated.
Yeah, and that's if they did it right the first time.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, then that costs even more.
Right? So we're like, well, I guess let's put this into our wish list and stuff. So and we've seen a couple that didn't have it.
Yeah.
You know, but we just really kind of like that idea of having one, you know, but I mean, if we find something that is the only thing that's missing. Well, anyhow, so we're getting off topic and we're not talking about the home that we actually did put an offer in on. So this is our very first time of ever really putting an offer in on a home. And so we weren't sure at first, like, you know, we talked to a lot of different people, like, how did you know that you wanted to put an offer in on this home? And they're all like, oh, we just kind of knew, or, you know, there was varying reasons, you know, and we're like, how do you know? Like how?
What's the connection? I mean, okay, finding the loved one, the love of your life. Okay, we have some experience in that.
Yeah.
But finding the home that you want to stay in there for
the next, like, 10 years or more, like, it's, like, crazy for us.
Because you're thinking about your personal habits. So if I'm going to stay here for it's not like renting.
Well, the most we've ever stayed at a place is this place now, a little over 2 years.
Exactly.
You know, we are not familiar with the whole, like, staying in a place for a long period of time. I mean, we technically, every time we move into a place, we still leave stuff in boxes. You know, what would it be like to move into a place where, like, hey, we can actually take it all out of the boxes?
Yeah, exactly. We can put all our photos up. I mean,
I know,
actual
right?
photos of our, and then we just kind of, you know, held on, like, well, we don't have like this house here has concrete walls.
Yeah.
So that's created a whole new level of difficulty. You know, those wall-mounted TVs, that's not an option.
Yeah, no.
And I've tried with a small TV, and it fell back off the wall. Good thing the TV didn't break, but it fell back off the wall.
Yeah.
You know, so these are things that, you know, you have to all take in account, not to mention the neighborhood, whether or not, you know, if you want to have neighbors front and behind you.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, again, one of our major reasons for leaving is right now we live in a very urban place, and we like the urban lifestyle and being around, you know, and close to things, but, you know, with a 9-year-old daughter who is, you know, it's a little bit of okay, you know, now every time we see somebody who looks a little scary, or the people that are driving really fast up our road, or you hear about a shooting that happened not very far away or right next door, like we've had. Well, you know, it's like, you know, you don't hear. I mean, even though those things can technically happen in the suburban lifestyle, you know, they're less likely to happen there.
Yes, I mean, the things we have witnessed. We have not witnessed these in any other place we've ever been in.
I mean, we don't have sidewalks here. You know, I would not be okay with sending my daughter out on her bicycle by herself to kind of ride up and down these roads. There's no way. I don't even feel comfortable letting her outside by herself in our fenced in yard.
Yeah.
Like.
This doesn't feel like a neighborhood. It's definitely. We
don't have any parks here.
Yeah.
You know, all these things that where we're looking at, they have them. They have parks. They have community pools. They have sidewalks everywhere. Yes. You know, every time we've gone there on the weekend, we see people out and mowing their lawns, and you know, a father taking his kids to a park that's nearby to play some ball or whatever. I mean, like, you see it.
Just take a moment on just like missing sidewalks for a while. Like, something I love doing, and I really can't do that here. And I think I attempted it, and just something weird happened. Is I like to go out at night and walk. Mm-hmm. That's how I kind of collect myself, my thoughts, my brain, things that are going on in my day. It's a simple way to organize that. I have not gone out for a walk in the nearly 3 years of being here.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's the mindset. It's like, I want to do this activity of simply walking. And if we had bought this place or was to stay stuck here, that would be 10 years of me never going outside at night and taking the walk to free my mind that I like to do. That's when I have my headphones on. I'm listening to music, or I'm just trying to clear my head and just have my thoughts free to the world, or for whatever. This simple mundane thing will be out of the box for me to do for that much time. And that's why it's so important that we really take the time to find out what we want. So garden tub is why.
But so we walked into quite a few homes, and and we've seen some. They're like, well, it checks all the boxes, but it just doesn't quite feel like like we the flow wasn't exactly right, or there was just something that just it's more than just like, oh well, it's got 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's got, the garage, and it's got this, and like, it's more than just checking boxes. There's a feel to it, an emotional, a flow, and energy. There's
a
like
feng shui.
Yeah. So anyhow, we walked into this place, and it was the first one we saw, and we were seeing 4 homes during that time frame, and so we walked into this one.
Before we go on to talking about the place that we got, I feel like there's something that I want to put out there.
Okay.
And that is when going into house to house, and you're looking at house, and you're looking for, you're in the process of looking for a house. You will come across times where people are living in that house.
Yes.
We've had 2 situations of all of them that was the case. One I can say is definitely as best of the situation that you can, and one that wasn't the worst situation, but oh my goodness, we threw it off the list of possibilities because of just kind of the weird, creepy factor in it. And not saying anything bad about the homeowner or anything like that. They're just living their lives.
Well, okay, so I think the thing is, like, what you're trying to get at is, okay, so whether you're buying the home or you're selling the home, it's a difficult process. You are selling your home, you're leaving a place that you've injected you have memories there, your life
you're
has
attached,
been there. Yeah. So that's hard to detach yourselves from it. But when you've made that decision that, okay, hey, it's time to sell for blank reason, who knows what, but it's time that I sell this place, you need to start detaching yourself from it. You need to start looking at it from an outsider's point of view. Like, okay, when I was searching for a home, what was it that I was really looking at? When you're trying to buy a home, you're trying to like, okay, hey, I want to see myself in here. And it's really, really, really hard to do that when all you see is the person who is there, who is still living there.
Yes.
And that's, their staging is a completely different thing. Just because you have furniture in there does not mean that you can't see yourself.
We actually, when we started our adventure, we went to a couple model homes, and they're designed for that reason. Yeah, you can kind of see like what they've done with it, and maybe what I could expand on this idea. There were certain pictures and how they laid it out on the walls. Yep.
They looked like somebody could live there. Yes. But nobody was living there. And so like having your furniture and things like that, that's not a problem. Like, you can do that. But, should you have your trash out? No, probably not. Should you, I don't know, like leave all of your very eclectic, your personal style, designs out? Probably not.
Well, let's give an example. Let's say you really love football, or basketball, baseball, or something like that. If all your paraphernalia of your favorite team, let's say your favorite team is the purple team. I don't think there's a purple team out there, but that way I don't piss off anybody. So, Team Purple.
Well, you could just go with Tampa's team.
There you go.
We got the Bucs.
Okay, the Bucs. You're all 100% Bucs. But you're selling to every other fan out there in the world, or non-fan out there in the world. So, let's say me, a nerdy gamer who's going to come in there and look at potentially buying this home, and I see Bucs on here, Bucs on there, Bucs painting a mural on the wall.
Buccaneers.
I'm just using Bucs.
I know, but it sounds like you're saying butts.
Okay. Why not? If I see butts here, butts there, there's butts on the wall, booty bouncing everywhere.
I think one of the homes we went into, there was a very
nice painting.
Yeah, there was intimate pictures of the husband and wife in intimate poses.
I'm not sure if there was. I don't think it was a picture of. It's maybe what they want to look like. I think it was.
Well, they were wearing clothes in it, I believe. I don't know. I didn't look at them all that closely.
Yes, they were clothed by hands over each other's areas.
Yeah, it was awkward to say the least.
Exactly. But actually, that was one of the better scenarios.
Well, yeah, because they left. Okay, so we got there. They opened the door and they're like, "Okay, I'm taking the dog out," and they left. It's like, okay, that that's fine. I can totally thank you for leaving so that we can try to kind of go into your place. But they did leave the TV on and stuff, so I was like, oh, okay. Again, that like just kind of
it kills the mood and what we're thinking about doing. We want to get into a nice analytical mood.
It wasn't necessarily something we would have playing, so it's kind of hard to like picture yourself living here in this when you've seen not your furniture, not your style, not even what you would listen to, so it's like, but we were like, all right, let's try to drown out all of this noise going on that's not our noise.
Correct. And it felt like, and that's like what we were doing, like let's just try to look at this analytical perspective. And there was another one where the person was there, and
that one was, and then there was like, their kids were still asleep, and it's like, oh my god,
one
like
lady, which I don't know if it was the daughter or wife.
I think it was the daughter.
Oh, and nothing. They're just living their lives. It just feels like we just walked into a stranger's home, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, come in."
Well, we don't know. We technically did walk into somebody else's home, but when you have your home up for sale on the market, and you know that you're going to have people coming in and out of there, and
yeah, and I just saw the girl there. She's got she's relaxing. She got her shorts on, and they're sitting there on the counter, and I feel like, don't look that way. Those are extremely short shorts, and okay, I'll look in here in the room and then look here. Like, I'm not trying to notice their personal stuff, but their personal stuff is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about like their closet material and stuff like that. But you got, what food they were eating, this and that. And it feels like I'm walking in the middle of someone's life.
Yeah.
And I can't get myself in the mindset, I try to get myself in the mindset of how would this work for me?
I mean, not to mention, okay, you walk into a place and I mean, when there's two of us there, we like to kind of like talk to each other like, oh, hey, well, we could see putting our bed here or we could see doing that. But, when the homeowner is actually there, it's like, I can't talk about these things. I can't talk about how I would like change this paint color.
About this? Yeah, and then,
or hey, maybe we would do this here. I like that feels weird.
Yeah. I mean, and that's
now I'm changing their house.
We are there to critique too. That's going to be a part of the process. And if I don't feel like I have room or feel comfortable critiquing, let's say I don't like your paint color because both of those houses had very dark paint.
Yes.
In a lot of areas.
Which paint color can be changed, but at the same time, when you've got the owner right there, it's like I can't even talk about changing this paint color that you actually took the time to probably do yourself and chose out,
which even hurts them even more because now since we're holding onto our critiques, do we have that private in our car driving to the next location or going back to our own house? We're just making it even worse.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't help. I would just say for anybody who is looking to make that jump, you're deciding to do that. I would say make sure that you have time for people to come there. Do your best when you are getting your house ready. I would definitely say if you can remove like dark paint from areas. Look for very if you need help, look for the contemporary section. Look for what colors to definitely go. Axe around, but do yourself a favor of making your house look like.
The thing is, like, I guess because we've gone into like so many rentals and stuff like that, we constantly have the very underrated undertones and stuff. And well, paint is one of those things they constantly tell you, look beyond paint or whatever when you're looking to buy a home or whatever. But I mean, really, really dark colors. If okay, if I go into one room and I'm like, okay, for sure I need to change this room, but the rest of the house is fine. Then I'm like, okay, I can do that. But when we're talking about having to paint the entire house, and we're talking about potentially dark paint, which would probably require more than one coat, that's a lot of money that I'm about to invest into that.
And speaking of that, as we were looking at these houses with the people in them, when it came to like looking at how much they were charging compared to the comparables, they may have been just looking at, okay, this have certain amount of rooms, this have this. I would say for us, if we were making a deciding factor, you need to price yourself like $20,000 below, because where they wanted, like, kind of top tier where they were at, they weren't even really competitive just by having all their stuff there. Instantly dropped us, like, we wouldn't get this at that price, at least drop it 20, 30, maybe even $40,000 below for us really considering going through the effort of painting your house. Meanwhile, there's a house that looks kind of like yours that's also on our list.
Well, yeah, if I walk into a house
because we're looking at comparables, always.
The thing is, like, if I'm looking to buy a home and I walk into a home and I only see your home, I can't see it as my home.
Yes,
and so that's where the thing is, and it can be hard, like, whether you're on either side. I mean, we've never had to sell a home, so I don't know what that is like. But there's been many, many, many instances that we've had to move out of a rental. So that's kind of, in a way, the similar way. Like, okay, we've lived here for a year. We've lived here for 2 years. We've put ourselves into there. We've put up our pictures. We've put up, our stuff, our decorating or whatever. And now all of a sudden, like, hey, we've got to take all those things down and move out of there. Detach ourselves from it.
Yeah. If you have to paint back the builder paint beige white mix, and it will actually increase your value than having your what you believe in your head.
Well, yeah, because we want to get our deposit back that we put in on the rental.
Yeah.
So to do that, you have to, like, put it back to, I mean, not exactly the state you got it in, because there's wear and tear. It's living. They know that that's part of the the conditions, but you got to put it back to a somewhat similar state.
Yeah. And we saw I think like some of the houses, like was the last one we saw was like. I don't want to name the color because I'll just say black. It wasn't black.
Yeah,
but
it was close.
Pretty darn close. And to remove black paint or do any work with black paint, anybody who was looking at buying, even if it was in the price range there, people are just looking at, oh my God, I've done this before, or oh my God, I've heard so many bad things. And again, those are dollars and cents that no one's going to offer you at or above market value, depending on your market. But for a situation like that. Meanwhile, let's go back to the house that we actually did pick. I just felt like I wanted to get that rant out of there. Sorry. I apologize. That's all right.
No, it's okay. It's part of our process that we've been going through and stuff like that. So, yeah, so finally, like, I mean, and it's not about, like, not having to do work, because honestly, the one we ended up, going on, it needs some work, but all of it's pretty minor and would take maybe a day to complete it all, and so it's like, it's not, it's not like it
had horrendous carpets.
Yes, really bad.
The carpets were so bad from the photos. We were thinking we were just going to mark the house off before.
Yeah, like we almost didn't go see it because we're like, the photos made that carpet just like, I'm like, we're going to have to tear out all the carpet in this whole house. Like, that's a good chunk of time and money that we would have to invest into it before we could even move into the home.
Yeah.
But when we actually finally went there, it was like, this could probably come out just with a really good cleaning. I mean, we've gotten some pretty bad stains out with, like, the
way worse than what we saw there.
Doctor from the from the store.
Yeah, what it looked like is that they had the previous people who were there had their furniture haven't moved their furniture, just kind of stayed there for a while, and it's just the result of normal walking traffic. And
I mean, the thing is, like, you accidentally spilled a glass of water or something like that, and you dab some of it up, and it's not such a big deal, but then you walk over it for the next how many ever years, and eventually it even just, 1 year you can see a difference between 1 year of just general traffic. So
and carpet.
This one had obviously it had been sitting there for a bit because it's actually it's a bank-owned home, so it went through the foreclosure process and it went through all that. So, I mean, they're less likely to do it, but again, that it was priced accordingly. They priced it in a way that it's like, okay, hey, we see that there's all these things that need to be done, so they put it at a much more reasonable price. So it's like, okay, I mean, we still have room in this budget to be able to actually make those changes, to patch up the hole in the wall, to
there was a hole in the wall in the home we offered. This and just kind of think about what we were just talking about with the other homes. Now we were talking about we're okay with the work, but we see the pain and this and that. The home
it's once it starts adding up, okay, we've got to paint every room. We've in a 1,600 square foot house. That's a lot of rooms. Yeah. But now we're talking about, okay, so we got to clean the carpet. The bottom floor was the worst. The second floor wasn't too bad. But again, there wasn't like carpet everywhere, so it wouldn't be terrible. And we've cleaned carpet before.
Let's say like all the holes were patched up, whatever. We saw the people living in the house. I think that would have may have had stirred our eyes and go and walk away from that potential good too. So this something that I just wanted to add to the nature. If we saw somebody else's material, we probably would have missed the potential that this area would have had.
Yeah, probably.
So just
because again, it's a lot harder to picture yourself in a place when you just see so much of the other person. Like you take down pictures of you and your loved
family,
ones,
your son, your baby,
yeah.
And I get it. That's kind of hard. There's emotional attachment there. But if that was there, just like with the other homes that we just straight took off the list, we may have not have noticed that. Okay, this one had a freaking hole in the door and this and like in the wall in the master bedroom and this. But if we saw everybody else's stuff there, and I think that maybe the first one we saw, the master was pretty large too, with a very nice closet.
I don't know, but the furniture was so big, it was really hard to tell.
Again, the potential just gone, and maybe it would have actually worked out if they had just did that. So, just want to point that out. We picked a home.
Well, we didn't really like the neighborhood for that one either. So
yeah, that was true. That was a big deciding factor as well. So not much you can do about that.
So this one was in the neighborhood that we really like. It was at a price point that was very reasonable. And it had a nice flow to it, and pretty much checked all of our boxes, and and we could picture ourselves there. We could see hey, okay, we could use this room for, the office, or this could be our daughter's room. And, this is a really big master compared to the really small thing that we have now.
And now we're thinking in our heads oh my goodness, what else can we do? Because we can throw a bed in here and a table and something else. What else can we put in here?
I know, we don't have enough furniture to fill this.
Exactly. And look at the closet space.
Let's see, the room that is currently our master bedroom, I guess, is what, 10 by 10?
Which, okay, I may be at fault for that. I may be a little at fault.
No, I think we made that decision together. I agreed. I mean, there is a technical master in this house that we live in right now. It has the bathroom with it, an ensuite bathroom and whatever. Mm-hmm. So we technically had a master, but we looked at that room and we went, we only sleep in it.
Yes.
This thing is way, way too big, and we needed a room to put our office stuff in, and that took up a lot more than the room that we currently sleep in as our, that could have been the office.
We have 3 full desks. Actually, all 3 with dual monitors.
Yeah.
So we as far as our tech is very important for us,
yes.
and it takes up a lot of space. And the 10 by 10 room is we'll just stick the bed in here instead. And that would probably be an odd decision for anybody else, but that we're the it couple.
So yeah. Anyhow, so this place, it had more room for us to be able to actually take actually take the master bedroom. We'd actually have a master bedroom again with a garden tub.
Yes.
But hey, how so? We that was the first home we had seen that day. And then we're like, okay, well, we still have 3 other homes we're going to go see. So let's see how it compares because we really like this one.
Yes. And, I kind of, we went back to the Bland home. We've talked about the Bland home on here before.
We did. It came back onto the market and we're like, hey, let's go check it out again. That was the very, very first home when we first were like, hey, maybe we'll buy a home now. And that was the very first home we ever saw.
Yes, yeah. And kind of paint a picture here. It was we were comparing that home against every other home we watched. And because we saw it was on the market and then it went off the market.
Yep. Yeah, like the very next day. It went off very quickly.
Yeah. And so we were thinking and at the time we thought we called it the Bland home because it was very much beige.
Yeah.
It was pretty much, it was just a home. It was just a home. But as we were going through all these other homes and what they were offering, this Bland home started matching up really well with these other homes.
Yeah, the price point it was at was, less than a lot of the other homes we're looking at. Mm-hmm. We, there wasn't, it was like move-in ready. There was very few things that we would need to do. Actually, there was nothing we needed to do to move in. It was ready to move into. Well, actually, except for a refrigerator. It needed a refrigerator. But that was it. That was the only thing it absolutely needed for us to move into it. Now, of course, that doesn't include the things that we would do to it in order to make it our own. There were certainly floorings in the bathroom that were like, there were things like that. But, every home is going to have that. You're going to walk into a home and go like, I probably would paint this room that, or, I would, this flooring is okay. It works for the time being, but, those kind of things. So, but we were constantly comparing every home up to this, price point wise, bedroom wise, size wise,
neighborhood wise.
Yeah. And so it finally came up on the market. We're like, hey, we're going to go actually see this home again. Maybe we'll, make an offer in on that one since we were.
In fact, and that's what we were thinking. I think that's where we're going
before we
this
went.
Week.
Yeah.
We were thinking we see the Bland home again. I think this is the time we just make the offer. It's back in the market.
Yep.
We're going to offer on Bland home.
Yep. And then we saw
we saw the other home and it was like, oh.
And then we walked into the Bland home, comparing it to that home, and we're like, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. The spark is gone. It was just amazing. Like, this is the home we were comparing everything to.
I think that was when I knew, when I was walking through the first home, I was like, oh, yeah, no, I really like this home. And then when we walked through the Bland home, I was like, okay, I got to compare it to that one. Because, like you said, we've left that one as the Bland home was our benchmark for all other homes we're walking through. So finally it was like, okay, I got to stack this one up against the Bland home and see what happens. And it was like, oh my gosh, I like it. I really like that home.
Yeah.
And I still have to see 2 more homes. I don't want to.
and then we pretty much we went over the next home and we just spent time explaining the situation there. Nothing wrong with them. It's just I really wish that 1, they wasn't there, and 2, that the house was just not so much of them there.
Yeah.
And, music also may sound like a very little nitpick. There's something else.
But music sets the mood. It was kind of like the TV being on in that other place.
Yeah, but, there's the, something just, what's it called? The background sound.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be like ocean music. But it can like you walk into a mall and there's in the background.
There's so many things. Yeah,
the cookies.
There's so many subtle things that have been shown to make a difference. Paint color.
Yeah.
Makes, if you're in a red room versus a blue room, it has a completely different feeling.
Yes.
Those little things, they might seem silly or whatever, but they make a difference,
Having someone else's TV who's watching something that you would never watch in the background is more of a, this doesn't really feel like my house. That's an instant not feel like my house situation. Yeah. Or someone listening to music that you don't normally listen to. But something that's played into like every store or mall or that casual background music, it sounds stupid, but just put that, was it standard chill station.
Yeah,
or something
like
on Spotify.
yeah, I wouldn't put anything that has words in it or whatever. Definitely. Yeah, and so yeah, like those kind of things can make a difference. When I'm smelling food that you just cooked for yourself for breakfast or whatever, versus when we went into that other home, they had a nice, good smelling the plug-in wax or whatever. Yeah, that was much better. Like okay, hey,
it let us forget some of the distracting things. Which again, for the her situation, which I think the picture should have been took down, but taking down the paint, whatever, may have been outside of that realm, and who knows what's going in her life or whatever. May have been too hard for her, but I think it painted up way better than the last time with kind of walking into someone's life.
It's just I don't know. Either way, so yeah, well, that one pretty much was off the list, and then we saw the last home, which that one was a nice home. It just wasn't, we have this area that we really, really like. And it's close to, it's not just the neighborhood, but it's also close to shopping and things like that. And this one was a lot further. It was a nice neighborhood. Yes. It had all the things that we liked from the neighborhood.
Nice home. It was a nice home.
Oh yeah, it was very nice.
In fact, I was talking to my mom. I was like, you would have thought we were crazy that we picked the house with a hole in the wall over this home. This one it didn't have the countertop was this kind of weird material.
Yeah, it was really weird.
But it had little speckles of glitter in it, and it looked really nice, really shiny. And I'm not sure if a realtor kind of was on the same page. I think she was more kind of criticizing it, but I was like, it's pretty nice.
She was I think she was saying it was a quartz like
a laminate.
Yeah, it was a laminate that was meant to look like a quartz, and it was an overlay, which I think pretty much means that there was another countertop there, and they pretty much put this over that countertop.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I didn't have a problem with it. The weird part was there were some rough patches, and then some that were really smooth. So that was a weird thing.
But the other one we had, it was just green thing, just wasn't all that great, honestly.
From the home that we put an offer in on?
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't green. But yeah, no, I mean, it was...
It didn't stand out.
Yeah, no, I mean, the kitchen in that home that we put an offer in on, yeah, it was a little I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
The other one had this very nice vaulted ceiling area.
Oh yeah, no, that was huge. I mean, it was. You walked into it,
photo worthy.
Yeah, you walked into it, and it had the it was open to the second floor, which I mean, just is amazing. But at the same time,
great looking grand staircase kind of situation going on.
But the weird, beautiful staircase. But the weird thing was when I walked into that area, and I remember seeing the pictures, going oh, that's going to be really cool, and it was. I walked into it. And it was this open to the second floor and beautiful grand staircase. And then I walked into it and I went,
it's an awkward small area.
I know, right? The actual floor space of it was really small. I mean, I think it was as big as our bedroom that we currently live in.
Yeah.
Sleep in or whatever. Yeah. It's a 10 by 10 floor space. I'm and this is our living room?
Yeah. It didn't look bad. It's just, this is kind of a whimper of kind of what we were expecting.
I know, right? And our realtor was actually, I think it'll look bigger with if you put furniture in it. And I'm when do you hear that?
Yeah, it shouldn't look bigger with things in it, and it should look fuller. And it's
I think the issue was because it was so much taller than it was wide. It really made that floor space extra small looking.
Yes. So
and then it had this front area where you first walked into the door, and it had a little. I mean, that was even smaller of a space. So it's and then you had the staircase in the middle, and then you had the living.
Kind of snaking your way.
Yeah, so it's if all of that was together, it would be a lot bigger looking. And because I mean, I'm looking at it going I don't know how I would do all this. What would I do with this little space up here? There's nothing I could do with it.
Square footage literally lost on hallway area.
Yeah,
and
that's one of the things that we really hate. That when there's a layout is so important to us. We feel there are places you can walk into that might be smaller square footage, but it feels bigger because of the layout, or vice versa.
If you've ever been to an IKEA shop,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you're close to one, there's like they have like these little spaces of small square footage areas, and they use the square footage very wisely.
Yes.
Each room, even the bedrooms, how small they are, they each feel like they have the space you need to do the things you want in the IKEA shop. Now, they're modeling it in a perfect situation.
Yeah, that was where we like walked into a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 600 square foot, and we're like, wow, we could actually like live in this. You know?
Had a living room. There was a bedroom for for our daughter, a bathroom, a nice, decent kitchen, and it was like, oh my goodness, this all looks better than the places you see with like 1800 square foot.
Yeah,
those space was used way better.
Yeah, and and while like the tiny home thing is something we definitely would like to do down the road, it's a little hard when we talk about like injecting us and our daughter in one thing, but then we have a dog and a cat and a guinea pig, and it's like,
yes,
we're gonna all be like tripping over each other.
for people who want to stick around for the long haul of the It Couple show, there'll be an It Couple on the go show as we go all around the U.S. I think that'll be a good retirement.
We've pretty much like one of the things that got us into let's get a home now is when we're right now we're focusing on raising our daughter and stuff like that. But once she graduates, most likely whatever we're living in at the time, we'll sell that home. And then we would love to just be me and, Xavier and get a tiny home and go traveling, around the United States, pulling it.
What do you call the thing when you rent your home out or people can come in and stuff like that? I'll probably
Airbnb.
Airbnb. We will Airbnb.
If that's even, who knows if that's going to be the thing in 10 years from now?
Who knows? Yeah. but if it's still a thing, then we will Airbnb as we go cross country, state to state. Just throwing an idea out there, and just like, share, and subscribe to that idea.
Sure, whatever. We'll see what happens in that time frame. But either way, so we found a home that we really like. But one of the issues was, so we went, we were like, tell our realtor, all right, we're ready. We're definitely, this one is one we're going to put an offer in on. And so we were talking about all these things and, here's the plan, what we can start at. It's been on the market for a little while. So, they'll probably be a little bit more negotiable. There was the whole, it's bank owned, but she had talked to the listing agent. And it seemed like they would be willing to, do some movement and stuff like that. And, and so we're like, okay, we have this whole idea. We get home, we start, waiting, and doing our other stuff while we're waiting for her to send us the offer. And then she's like, yeah, so apparently there's multiple offers in on this home and they're taking them until, at a later date, in a couple days from now. Do you still want to move on this? And we got to put in our best and final offer. And it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, which puts a monkey wrench into the plan.
Right.
Like we were like, oh, so other people like this house too? Like, dang it.
Yeah, right. Like, no, we got competition, and so, and it's like, all right, whatever. We liked it enough. We're like, okay, fine. We had talked about like, oh, we'll start here, but here is what our like end offer is. So we're like, all right, well, let's just start at the end offer now. That's it. That we're going to put, that was our, that would be the highest we would be willing to go with this place. So let's put that in, so we put that in, we signed all of our stuff and now we're waiting.
So we don't have the home just yet. We just have the offer in.
Yep.
But in a way, it's like, it is good that we at least made this step of saying, okay, we found the point of what would make us say yes.
Right.
This we had the bland home, which was kind of like, well, maybe it has potential, but we finally get to the point where it's like, okay, yes, this is. Well, yeah, we now know what we would trigger on, or what
exactly. Like, I think at that point we hadn't walked into a place where we're like, I could actually make an offer in on it. It was more like we walked into it like, well, I guess we could do that.
Like we could
it's
settle
all right.
on this. Like
exactly. Like where this one actually didn't feel like we're settling. It felt like I could actually live here. I could see myself living here.
The Smith household. This
exactly.
Could totally be,
so now that we know that we actually do have that point, because we didn't know, we had no clue, So now that we know, we obviously are on the we want this home. But we're kind of trying to like, okay, don't get your hopes up kind of thing. Cause who knows? I mean, we put in a, even though it's with a bank, it still will go in front of people who make the decision. So our realtor was like, you never really know. So let's put in a letter. So I whipped up a quick letter, that was like, hey, we're veterans. We would love to live here. We want to raise our daughter here, and things like that, to pull at heartstrings.
It was a really sweethearted letter. It really was.
So I know my mom says, she's like, it made me cry.
The part we're wondering is like, I hope this I'm for myself, I'm hoping that this is going into a person and hopefully goes into their heart.
Well,
because
I mean,
we are sending this to a bank.
Banks have people that work there, and the people are the ones that look at these things. So yeah, it's possible, obviously, but for the most part, banks, they make the decision based upon the numbers kind of thing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't look at it and go like, well, hey, these are two veterans, so let's go with that route. Because it's not just a numbers game. As much as they like to say it's a numbers game and stuff like that, there's a lot of variables into it. Okay, we go with this offer, but what if it falls through,
Yeah, because it already went through before.
The bad part for us would be if somebody made a cash offer and on it, then we're screwed.
Yeah, pretty much on that. Okay, here's one thing I want to throw at you on the house.
Okay.
If you can name an area where you just feel like it fits you the most in the house we picked, if you could take a portion of this house and put into another house, if for some reason we couldn't get it, what would that be? I think I really liked
it had a loft area on the second floor, and I constantly go back to that. I really like that because I feel like as the three of us, as much as I like a living room, I really feel like we would probably, most of our living would be in that space. It's a communal space. The kind of the reason I like 2-story, bedroom or houses, and we've talked about this before, you and me, was that like I like the idea of like, okay, the first floor is like, if I have guests come in, like, oh, I just have to pick up this floor,
Yes.
Whereas then the second floor is where we would actually be doing our living, but at the same time, like with like the kitchen and stuff like that, like it had a nice flow and layout to it. And I could really see myself like working in there while, our daughter was doing her I don't necessarily need a dining room table. We hardly ever use our dining room table.
Yes.
But I could see like having a table there that she's doing, her homework on or whatever, or, making the craft, we do like crafts and stuff like that, me and our daughter. And, so like putting a craft table or something there, just, I don't know. I guess I could just see us living there. So.
Yeah, I'd say the loft is definitely 100% agree. It's that space that's missing here for us, and that's why we've used the master bedroom of our own spot as our official office area.
This the home where we are at is a very it's an older home, so it has that where it's very. It's not open.
Yeah,
it's very
it has a
segmented
powder room kind of area thing. Has carpeted in the bathroom.
Well, it's very every space is its own space. It doesn't have like a full on like compartmentalized.
There you go. Yes. what Laura said. That's what it is.
It's really hard to say a word when you're saying it incorrectly, but anyhow, so where this one had a much more open floor plan. It's
when you got up there, you got the whole space. When you're at the bottom, you're pretty much open to the whole space.
You walk in the door and you move direct. I mean, the flow of it moves you directly to the living room, and the kitchen was right open to the living room, and then tucked behind the staircase was, you had the half bath, and then you had the laundry room and access to the garage, and it was like, oh, okay, well, this is really nice, and then you go back around and you can go up into the second floor, and then you have open to the, to the loft there, and so it's like, we're like, okay, we can actually like, see ourselves in here. And, so yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, and we will, if we do, our offer gets accepted, I'm pretty sure we'll be like, put it on Instagram, and I gotta actually start getting back into our Instagram thing. But man, the trip to Canada thing, they threw me all off. Not to mention our daughter just started school again. So any of you out there who have kids that are, just started school too,
we feel your pain.
Yes.
We feel your pain. Now, in addition, because I think we're getting to the point of wrapping up.
Yep.
But if you would like to continue listening, we just started a recording out of the blue where we started talking about a topic that is more into the adult area. So we're going to a hard leap so kind of like a G rating to whatever rating that Deadpool was rated R.
I think what we should do maybe is like put that as a separate thing.
It's a separate thing? You think we should? Okay, so do you mean like we're still launch it, or should that be something else?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so we're going to talk about this. I
mean, I don't think it goes really with the discussion that we, had with the house. So
that I do agree. You know what? Maybe since I was going to say a bonus, let me just talk about something else separate of that. Altogether, and I was trying to think of what topic I wanted to go with, and with getting a new home and stuff like that.
If you want, we can discuss my trip to Canada. I mean, it wouldn't take up a whole podcast episode. So
you know what? There you go. Let's do that. So, including on there for our bonus material. You left the United States.
I did. Yeah, and it's been quite a few years since I've done that.
Yeah.
Actually, I had to go through the whole process of getting a passport again, and it was like, oh my God, it was horrible. Hello, everyone. Laura here. Just wanted to quickly tell you that we had a very long-winded conversation, Xavier and I, and we have decided to break it up into a couple of different pieces because we covered quite a few topics. So we did our about my Canada trip, and then we talked about the offer that we did on home. So you will find those in 2 separate podcast episodes. Thank you. Bye.